What's up, guys? Today I'm going to show you on how I made $37,000 by virtually flipping land. I never stepped foot on the land. I never even drove past the land. I'm going to show you step by step on how I was able to get it done so you could get it done too. Stay tuned. Alright guys, check it out. This is how the deal went down. Our cold caller Lorenzo got in contact with the seller, I want to say the end of October, early November. When we first reached out to the seller, we were actually calling about another property. Our rule of thumb in our business is when the seller tells us like, hey, I'm not interested in selling this property, instead of just saying, all right, have a good day, we always like to follow up and ask something along the lines of, okay, Mr. Seller, I understand you're not interested in selling this property, but do you have any other properties you may be considering on selling? Lorenzo asked that question, and that's when the seller had told us about this land that he owns in Newark, New Jersey. Just keep that in mind. If Lorenzo had never asked that follow-up question on if you have any other properties you're interested in selling, we would have never got this deal. This lead wasn't on any list, so you couldn't go to propstream.com. You couldn't go wherever you get your data from. You wouldn't be able to find it. Sometimes it's about the rapport you build with the seller and the key questions that you ask. So shout out to Lorenzo for that. So once Lorenzo had asked him if he had any other properties he was interested in selling, that's when he brought up the land. So we ran the numbers. He was telling us that he wanted $100,000. After back and forth negotiations, I want to say we locked it up for $80,000. I can't remember. He said $80,000 or $85,000. So after we locked up the deal, my partners and I, we're hyped. Of course, we got another deal under contract, but we're trying to figure out now, how can we go from a wholesale deal to a novation deal? We're trying to novate this deal. If you don't know what novation is, that's basically putting your wholesale deal on the MLS. You may ask yourself why, but the real question is, why wouldn't you? More exposure on your deals will lead to more buyers and most likely higher offers. Like, yeah, we have a buyer's list and we use it all the time when we blast our wholesale deals, but nothing beats the MLS. Just think about it. How many people has access to the internet? And when I mean the internet, going on websites such as Zillow.com, Trulia, Redfin, you can only imagine how many investors, traditional buyers, are looking on those websites every single day trying to find a home. Just put that in perspective. You may think you have the best buyers list, but nothing will beat the MLS. So, with that being said, we're trying to figure out on, man, how can we pitch it to him to allow us to put this deal on the MLS? And this is how we did it. We went back to the seller and we told him like, hey, Mr. Seller, I know you were looking for $100,000 and that was a bit too high for us. However, we do have another type of offer called our concierge service. I mean, if we were capable of bringing a buyer on board that's willing to pay your asking price of $100,000, would you be interested in something like that? That's it. Literally, that's it. Once we said that, of course, he followed up. His follow-up question was, yeah, I would be interested, but what's in it for you? How are you going to get paid? That's a question that you always get all the time. And what you say back to something like that is, we get paid by the buyer that we bring on board. So that price that we promised to you, in this situation it was $100,000, that's $100,000 net to you, will still cover all the closing costs, state and city taxes, and title fees. Would you be interested in something like that? And the rest is history. We ended up sending an addendum to him, basically stating that, all right, we're increasing our purchase price originally from the initial, which was $80,000 to $100,000. And we also included another contingency in that addendum. If the seller refuses to put the property on the MLS, we will go back to the original price. Ask yourselves, why do we put that? Of course, we got in a situation once where a seller played us and we ended up having to go with that higher number that we promised, and the seller didn't want to put the deal on the MLS. So take that as a learning experience. Don't make the same mistake that we did. Always, always, always triple read and protect yourself with these contracts that you put out to sellers, because you may verbally agree with a seller one day, but as I've learned through the years, sellers are liars. Liars. They'll tell you one thing and do another. It is what it is, so you got to protect yourself as much as possible. So definitely put that in your addendum when you're trying to novate a deal and the seller's on board and they're about to sign that addendum. Alright guys, so we decided our listing price was going to be $120,000, and literally the first day we listed it, we had so many buyers interested in this land deal. The reason why, especially, it's in Newark and you could build a 3-family on it. So right off the bat, a lot of investors love that. They'll take a multifamily any day over a single family home. So we listed the lot for $120,000 and offers started coming in. You know, initially we had an offer for $125, $130, $133, $135, and we ended up getting a buyer all the way up to $145,000. $145,000. Keep in mind, the price that we have with the seller currently is $100,000. So $100,000, $145,000, that's a $45K spread. And just to let you know, the buyer that ended up paying for this deal wasn't on our buyers list. So we would have never been able to find this buyer unless we did this novation strategy and was able to put the deal on the MLS. So after closing costs, having paid realtor commissions, we roughly came out with $37,000 profit. Literally in a month, we were able to make $37,000. Deals like this are happening all the time. All the time. Like I said earlier in the video, I never stepped foot on the property. I could go driving in Newark, New Jersey right now. I probably wouldn't even know that's the lot that I sold and made $37,000, to be honest with you. You could do this virtually. It's possible. I know a lot of people say in a market like New Jersey, New York, it's hard. You got to go down south, you know, to Florida or Phoenix where it's hot, you know, on the other side of the country. But all that, don't believe that. If you put in the work, put in the hustle, work on your craft every single day, deals will happen. Hope you guys got some value off this video. Catch you on the next one.